All right, so today I want to talk a little bit about brainstorming. Brainstorming is the main component of step 2 of the design process, generating concepts. So today we're going to cover what brainstorming is, 4 rules for brainstorming, some different brainstorming techniques, and then if you get stuck or dysfunctions during brainstorming that cause problems. Okay? So what is brainstorming? Brainstorming is a group technique for solving, generating ideas, stimulating creative thinking. It involves collecting ideas to try to flush out the best idea possible. And so brainstorming is generating concepts. It's getting ideas out. The idea is to the more concepts you get out, the more likely you are to come to a solution that works, or your ability to combine solutions to find the solution that is going to ultimately work. We rarely come to the first solution that we come up with as the solution to the problem. So there are 4 rules for brainstorming. You will need to know these 4 rules for brainstorming. If you don't get them all written down, we're going to cover them all in a little more depth. But rule number 1, no criticism allowed. Rule number 2, work for quantity, not quality. Rule number 3, welcome piling on. And rule number 4 is allow a free-for-all. No criticism allowed. Basically, you are not allowed to evaluate the ideas while you're brainstorming. Okay? That all the ideas get out. Nobody, everybody works for the common good and in getting out their ideas. Everyone should contribute, and don't say, "Oh, well, that's a bad idea. That won't work." You don't know what that idea will lead to or what it might spur in somebody else. Okay. Uh, Everything we do brainstorming wise is all high quantity, not quality. That doesn't mean, throw out worthless ideas, but you don't know, again, no criticism, what those are going to lead to. All right. You want to experience brain drain from every idea that pops into your head, put it out there, and then record those ideas so that you can go back and look at them. Oftentimes, after you get done brainstorming, not everybody will remember every idea that you guys have come to. All right. The more ideas you get out, the more likely that quality ideas or a good solution will come to the surface. Welcome piling on. Piling on is the idea of one person suggests an idea and that spurs an idea and another person to add to it. For for example, we're gonna one person says, "Hey, we should put custom decals on this object that will make it more appealing visually," and someone else thinks about the decals that are going to be put on there, and they think, "Well, wait a minute, we should make those decals change color to tell us something about the state of the product or the state of what's going on, maybe hot or cold or on or off." Uh, and that's piling on, taking an idea and adding to something, or maybe enhancing that idea. Allow free for all. Outrageous, humorous, unimportant ideas, record them. You don't know when that idea might lead to something that actually can become real and become a positive solution. So some of your most off the wall type stuff could very well become the solution to the problem. The sky is truly the limit. When we do a brainstorming activity here, we really want you to not worry about, and this ties back in with no criticism allowed, it allows you to truly get all the ideas out. No idea is stupid, no idea is too outlandish. We're not worried about whether the technology exists for an idea. Throw it out there because, again, you don't know what it'll lead to in somebody else's brainstorming idea. Uh, Different types of brainstorming. You can do some forms of free-form brainstorming with post-it notes and writing ideas on post-it notes. You can just do free writing, blurting out, just blurting out ideas, probably the most common, I would say. But make sure, again, you record. Somebody in a brainstorming session should always be assigned to recording all of your ideas. You can do forced association, which is basically you have to force some kind of association between two unrelated items. For example, Johann Gutenberg, the wine press, and a coin stamp becomes the movable type press. Okay, so something that two seemingly unrelated objects became something which has really changed newspapers and things throughout time. The scamper method here, I'm not going to read that to you. You certainly can read through that and look at that. Mind mapping, taking a main idea, drawing out maps and connecting the ideas through that way. Okay. Again, all ideas documented. Have a note taker, take photographs, and compile your ideas. This way you can go back and after your brainstorming is done, you can evaluate the ideas, start to cross off the outlandish, start to cross off the unfeasible ideas, and hopefully narrow it down to 3 or 4 or 5 ideas that then you can pick from that become your best possible solutions. Okay? Things that cause dysfunction during the brainstorming process. Using a poor design brief, having a poor definition of the problem that you're trying to solve. If you don't know the problem you're trying to solve, it's unlikely you're going to find a good solution. So if you start off with a bad briefing, you will end up with poor idea generation and oftentimes get stumped. Don't assume there's only a single right answer. Rarely in life do problems have just one possible answer. Right? Don't get hooked on the first good idea. I see this happen all the time, especially when we get going on the robotics team. I've seen it happen time and time again. Somebody comes up with an idea, you fall in love with it, and you ignore the other possible solutions, therefore missing what is probably a better solution than the first one that came out. Right? Don't consider only ideas from 1 or 2 people. There may be people in the group who have more experience, who are more outspoken and boisterous, but you need to have all parties in the brainstorming session involved. You don't know, again, who's going to come up with the good idea or what it might spark in those people with more experience or more knowledge on the subject. I think it's important to have people from a wide mix of backgrounds as well involved in that brainstorming process. So make sure everybody's involved in that process. Don't feel so anxious about getting to the finish line. Make sure that all the ideas flush out and you experience that brain drain. Becoming frustrated by lack of success, sometimes you need to look at it from a different direction. Maybe take a 5-minute break, 10-minute break, come back to it, and things like that. And then getting hooked on a solution that almost works and almost finishes it and completes everything. Sometimes you spend too much time trying to develop a solution to completion because it almost gets there, but it's never truly able to be complete. And so sometimes you have to abandon the solution, go back to the drawing board, re-brainstorm, and try to come up with a solution that can solve all the problems that are there. Okay? If you get stuck, go back and look at your list. Try to combine some promising partial solutions, some things that aren't complete. Try a different technique. Try individual and group. Maybe bring some new people into the group to help you with that. Or take a break, go back, do more research on the concept, reread the design brief, and then come back looking at the possible solutions. Okay, and so remember the 4 rules for brainstorming: allow free for all, work for quantity, not quality, no criticism allowed, and to welcome piling on. Okay, and that should get you through.